Good evening. This is Paul Martin talking to you practically in the middle of the night from the Martin Healthcare Advisors corporate offices. I'm here tonight to talk to you about how to continue to build value in your rehabilitation business. I'm here in the middle of the night because I couldn't sleep. I couldn't sleep until I provided you with this extremely valuable information. So I came over here in the middle of the night, and now I'm here with you, and I'm looking forward to sharing some great information with you. Tonight, what I want to talk to you about is how to grow your business in a time that most businesses, whether it's healthcare, rehabilitation, retail, or other forms of businesses, are struggling. We're in a time that we're looking at declining reimbursements. There's regulatory pressures, difficulty finding physical therapists. But we see many businesses in the industry that are giving great clinical care, watching their operations very closely, have adequate capital, and are poised for a growth strategy. And so that's what I'm here to talk to you tonight about, is how to grow your business in this current time of poor economic conditions, as well as payer pressures and other industry pressures. What I want to talk tonight about is startups. And we have found that companies that have the greatest success with new startup clinics follow these 6 steps. Step number 1. If they have an owned clinic, they do a demographic analysis, a zip code and a demographic analysis of their current referral base as well as their patient base. By doing this analysis, what you will find is that on the outliers of your current market, you will see that you have patients as well as physicians that if you were to establish a presence in another market on the other side of your existing market, they would have easier access to a new clinic. Step number 2. Now that you have chosen a market, now you want to study the demographics in that market. You want to study the population by age. You want to study whether or not that demographic is a growing demographic or a shrinking demographic. You also want to look very carefully at the competition in that market to analyze what you will be up against and what you'll be facing in that market. That's the analysis piece. Step number 3, go live in that market. I'm serious. There was a gentleman from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and when I worked with a large national company, he was better at doing startups than any operator I have ever seen in the 25 to 30 years I've been in the rehabilitation industry. And the way in which he found market areas is he went to those markets, he lived in those markets, he woke up in those markets, he went out, he spoke to physicians, he met with high schools, other community organizations, and he truly understood the market from a payer perspective, from a physician perspective. He might stop in some of the local competitors, but he really got a feel for that market by going, living, and waking up in that market for at least a week. Step number 4. Now you're ready to begin creating an operations and a financial budget. If you have a list of physicians that you've gone out and you've talked to, and you have some idea as to how many referrals you could expect from them, you can build your operations budgets and targets from there, and that will carry over to your financial budgets and targets. Step number 5. Now it's time to start looking for adequate space and equipment. I give you 2 words of advice in terms of space and equipment. Number 1, don't go too big too fast when it comes to space. We've been able to start new clinics in as little as 1,000 to 1,500 square feet. And if you can get a short-term lease, you can always move up from there without moving too far out of your demographic. Second, start light with equipment as well. With a couple treatment tables, some exercise equipment, a few modalities, somewhere in a range of $12 to $15 and possibly up to $20,000, you can get adequate equipment. A lot of the equipment can be leased and your startup costs can be minimal. Step number 6, staff for success. I was at a meeting with my partner, Tom Carden, in a meeting in Utah with a large company that has done multiple startup clinics. And the owner of that company stated in that meeting that he believed that the #1 success factor for a new clinic was to find the right therapist to lead, run, and drive it. And we're a firm believer that right talent, right fit, you get that right therapist who's excited, incentivized, and motivated to drive and run a new clinic with proper education, systems, and support, they can be very successful. We certainly know that there are a lot of other factors in terms of financing a new startup, understanding within that startup how that fits in with your long-term goals and strategy. And what we like to see are businesses that will grow with concentric circles. And what I mean by concentric circles is if you are in one market and you draw a circle and then you move to another market, there should be some overlap between those two markets of physicians and patients, because those are the markets that you're familiar with and that you already have a presence in. And make yourself relevant in the local markets that you preside within, and then start looking outside that market for other potential startup or potentially acquisitions. Next, that's what we're going to move to, is how can you, again, in this very difficult economy with lots of pressures, continue to grow your business not only through startups, but also acquisitions. Thank you for your time, and I hope in the middle of the night we've given you some great top secret information that you will take and add value to your business today. Thank you.